Hi everyone, it's me, Latoya from Chi Essence. I'm coming to do Tip Tuesday for you today. I don't have any little people to help me hold the camera, so I am going to try and do this Tip Tuesday and give um, some demonstrations as well. We are talking about dilution of essential oils and really topical application. So I guess we're really talking about topical application, and in that, the importance or ways to deal with dilution of essential oils. And yeah, so let's get started. So one of the ways that we can get aroma or essential oils into our system is through topical application. Why is that effective? Well, the skin is one of the largest organs in the body, right? And so we get to experience the benefits from topical application. um, when we do it, when we use essential oils that way, we can kind of have twofold effects, right? You can target a very specific area by applying the oil in that one location, but even when you apply it in that one location, it still goes throughout the body to give the entire body an effect, right? Because it is being transported through the bloodstream, essentially. Once the oil gets on the skin, it goes through the hair follicles, it hits that particular spot, but then it continues to spread throughout the body through the bloodstream. And so it tends to have an overall body effect and a specific point effect. So that's why topical application is really good. Um, but also in the idea that the skin is the largest organ in the body, it's just alive with like all of these little receptors, right, waiting to absorb things. And we mentioned that essential oils are highly concentrated forms of a particular plant property, and the drop of essential oil is so much more potent than, let's say, a tea or some other form of that extract or that plant. And so how we get it into our body through topical application is very important. And so that's why we have this idea of dilution, right? If you've heard me talk, I say lavender is kind of one of those oils. It's a little less forgiving. I mean, it's a little more forgiving, excuse me. And so if we don't dilute it or properly, then it's fine. But there are some others that are not as forgiving, right? So thyme being one of those. I had some issues in my chest maybe 2 weeks ago, and I grabbed a bottle of thyme, and in my mind, I diluted it well. I rubbed it on, and there was burning. So I knew that I had not diluted it well enough, because thyme is one of those oils that is a little bit stronger, and so you have to make sure that the ratios when you're diluting it is fine or is right. And so in that type of case, if you realize that, wait, this is burning, simply add more carrier oil, right? So this idea of carrier oil. What is a carrier oil? It does exactly what it says. It carries the essential oil throughout the various parts in your body. And I know that the idea of diluting something, making it stronger, is counterintuitive, right? We think if something is diluted, that means it's watered down, it's not as effective, but it is actually the opposite in the case of essential oils. Without dilution, and if we're thinking topical application, without dilution, the the body only absorbs about 4% of that particular essential oil, right? It gets lost in evaporation. Um, sorry, it gets lost through evaporation. So we get about 4% of absorption rate without dilution. When you add a carrier oil, that increases the rate of absorption to about 10%. And then you can increase the absorption rate even more by covering up the area that you put the essential oil on, right? So, for example, one of my favorite ways to do topical application, especially with the kids, is on the bottoms of the foot. And so, oftentimes, I would put the oil on the bottom of their feet and then put socks on, right? I put socks on them. If there's stomach discomfort, I put the oil around the abdomen area, and then I will like pull up the pants or something to kind of cover that space, right? Um, so that increases the absorption a little bit more, because what the carrier oil is doing is slowing down the rate of evaporation. So it's allowing that oil to get into the system better. Um, Let me think. What else do I want to say? There are some oils that can cause a lot of sensitivity. So essentially, if you think of the citrus oils, right? Lemon, tangerines, can't think of citrus right now, but citrus oils, they can have a high level of photosensitivity. And so it's really important to test those out on your skin in small quantities before you really use them and go out into the sun. It's actually suggested that if you're going to use oils that have those citrus things in it, that you use them towards the end of the day when you are not going to be going out into the sun. That way you don't have a reaction with the oil and the sun. People who have eczema or psoriasis, or some other type of skin condition or compromised immune systems, it's also really, really important that the oils are diluted, and they may need to be diluted more than it would be with the normal person, right? So I tend to not give dilution rates, because it's going to change based on your size and your own body composition. But a good rule of thumb is about 1 drop. When I did the coconut oil pulling video, I was like, 1 drop would be like for 2 tablespoons of essential oil. They say 1 drop to 3 drops of carrier oil is a pretty good ratio. Um, but always test it out. For babies, you need like just a little. I'm sorry, my hand keeps going in front of the camera. I told you I'm trying this by myself. Um, so babies, because their epidermis or their skin layer is so thin, that you really want to make sure you dilute the oil well for them. Um, for typical home use, I love coconut oil. I keep it around all the time, and so whatever I'm using, I just kind of drop the oils in there and rub it. For products for tea essence, I actually use fractionated coconut oil. It has a really long shelf life. It absorbs better into the system, um, and so I do that. For my face, I don't use coconut oil on my face, so if I'm making a facial product, I would use maybe a jojoba or some other type of oil to dilute for my skin, or for my face. Sorry. So that is my spiel about dilution. I'm just going to give some really quick tips on application. So shake it up, all right? If you are having stress, or you want to relax, good places for application are the temples, right? The top of the forehead and the base of the skull back here. We talked about chest, right? So if you're having some things where you want to, provide ease, you just come right up here in the chest area, rub it in. So this is my tea to unwind. Since it's late night, I figured I'm perfectly okay. I do need to unwind, right? The day has been long, so I'm perfectly fine with doing that. If there are digestive issues, or you're trying to soothe something with the stomach, I'm not going to flash you. Let's see here. Well, just imagine, you know where your stomach is. You want to make like a circular clockwise circle around the abdomen, or around the belly button, with the essential oil, the diluted essential oil. For women, during the time of menstruation, you can go around down by the lower abdomen and massage some oils in there, and that can help bring comfort. So those are my tips. I mentioned the bottom of the feet already, and in all the videos I talked about the other post points. But these were today just some specific points to kind of deal with some specific things